The Los Angeles Lakers made several moves this offseason to reshape their roster, and one of the most quietly impactful additions is point guard Collin Sexton. While players like Walker Kessler and Quentin Grimes have grabbed more headlines, Sexton brings a package of skills and a mentality that could prove just as valuable when the 2026-27 season tips off. And when asked to describe what the Lakers organization communicated to him about their goals for the upcoming year, Sexton did not need more than one word to sum it all up: toughness. That word carries a lot of weight when you consider the direction this franchise is heading. Head coach JJ Redick and the Lakers front office have made it clear they want to build a team that competes on both ends of the floor. A group that does not just score in bunches but also makes opposing offenses uncomfortable every single night. In recent years, the Lakers were often criticized for lacking the defensive intensity and overall grit needed to survive deep into the playoffs. The front office appears to be addressing that weakness head on with every roster decision made this summer. Sexton described his conversations with the organization in enthusiastic terms. He said the Lakers want to be able to compete in all aspects of the game, on the defensive end, on the offensive end, and in their ability to change the pace whenever the situation demands it. He pointed out that simply walking the ball up the court and allowing the opposing defense to get set is not the style this team wants to play. Instead, the Lakers are prioritizing the ability to push tempo, shift gears, and keep opponents off balance. Sexton made clear that those kinds of conversations resonated with him and that he felt genuine belief from the coaching staff in what he can bring to the team. He also acknowledged that JJ Redick will push him hard and said that kind of demanding environment is exactly what brings out his best performance. Sexton arrives in Los Angeles with a proven offensive track record that makes him a legitimate weapon in any rotation. Over his 8-year NBA career, he has averaged 18.3 points and 3.6 assists per game, while shooting 47.2% from the field and 38.9% from beyond the arc. Those numbers reflect a player who can create his own shot, knock down perimeter attempts consistently, and handle ball handling duties both on and off the ball. His experience operating alongside elite playmakers also positions him perfectly to thrive next to Luka Dončić and Austin Reeves, both of whom demand attention from opposing defenses at all times. But what makes Sexton's arrival particularly meaningful is not just what he brings offensively. It is the fire and competitive edge he carries onto the floor every game. Sexton has always been known as a player who locks in and raises his intensity when it matters most. That kind of energy is contagious on a team that is trying to establish a new identity under a relatively new coaching staff. When the pace slows or momentum shifts, having someone like Sexton who can spark things back up with energy and competitive drive is invaluable. The Lakers are also hoping Sexton can fill some of the emotional and toughness related void left by Marcus Smart, who was a catalyst for the team last season. Smart brought an edge and a tenacity that lifted everyone around him, and Sexton has expressed a desire to carry forward that same spirit. He has specifically cited both Smart and former Laker Avery Bradley as players he wants to emulate in terms of their defensive commitment and competitive fire. Bradley was known throughout the league as one of the toughest perimeter defenders of his generation, and Smart was a proven defensive player of the year who changed the energy of every team he played on. There is also a tactical dimension to Sexton's addition that deserves attention. JJ Redick built a reputation as an analytically minded coach who values spacing, ball movement, and pace. Sexton fits that vision perfectly. When paired with Luka Dončić in pick and roll situations, those two guards create a nightmare for opposing defenses. Teams that load up on Dončić open the door for Sexton to punish them from the perimeter or attack the rim in transition. Beyond the on-court contributions, Sexton's presence in the locker room also matters. He is a player with 8 years of NBA experience who has been through rebuilds and playoff races. For a roster with several younger players still developing, Quentin Grimes, Zaire Williams, Sandro Mamukelashvili, having a veteran guard with Sexton's intensity and work ethic sets a daily standard that lifts everyone around him. For the Lakers to take the next step in the 2026-27 season, toughness will not be optional, it will be essential. Every contender in the Western Conference brings physicality and intensity, and the Lakers know they cannot afford to be outworked on either end. Sexton understands that expectation and welcomes it. His ability to defend multiple guard positions, push the pace in transition, and knock down shots in high-pressure moments makes him exactly the kind of player this franchise needs surrounding Luka Dončić. The 2026-27 season presents a genuine opportunity for this franchise to make a significant leap, and Sexton's combination of scoring punch, defensive commitment, and competitive fire gives the coaching staff one more reliable weapon to deploy. If the mental approach matches the talent, Sexton could prove to be one of the most important and underrated pieces of this entirely new-look Lakers roster. The Los Angeles Lakers have completely rebuilt their roster ahead of the 2026-27 season, constructing a new-look squad around superstar Luka Dončić and Austin Reeves. The additions of Walker Kessler via sign and trade from the Utah Jazz along with Sandro Mamukelashvili, Quentin Grimes, Colin Sexton, Matisse Thybulle, Ziaire Williams, and Kevin Looney represent a dramatic shift in roster philosophy. Gone is the veteran-heavy approach that defined previous years. In its place is a younger, more athletic, more versatile group built with energy and hustle as core values. But not everyone around the league is impressed, and Dillon Brooks made sure the world knew exactly where he stands. Brooks, the Phoenix Suns forward who just came off one of the best individual seasons of his career, was asked about the Lakers' new roster construction. His response was sharp, brief, and characteristically provocative. He questioned whether the team would be enough to compete unless Luka Dončić averaged 40 points per game. The implication was clear. Brooks believes the supporting cast the Lakers have assembled is not strong enough to carry the team when it matters most, and that the entire operation depends entirely on Dončić carrying an enormous load night after night. For a player known across the league as one of its most relentless trash talkers and agitators, this kind of comment is nothing new. Brooks built his reputation not just as a tough defender, but as someone who uses words as a weapon just as effectively as any on-court skill. He did exactly this throughout his time with the Memphis Grizzlies, and he carried that same attitude to the Houston Rockets and then to the Suns. His beef with the Lakers has been public knowledge for some time, particularly due to a rivalry that developed in part because of his contentious matchups against the franchise's former cornerstones. With LeBron James now gone from Hollywood following his departure in free agency, it appeared Brooks might ease up on the purple and gold. That assumption turned out to be wrong. It is worth pointing out the irony in Brooks' critique. The Phoenix Suns went 45-37 in the regular season just completed, a winning percentage that sounds solid until you examine the numbers more carefully. When Devin Booker either sat out or scored 18 or fewer points, the Suns managed only a 13-14 record in those games. In other words, Brooks' own team is just as dependent on their star performing at a high level as he claims the Lakers are. Every contender in the NBA is built around a franchise player who is expected to carry the heaviest burden. The Lakers are no different. The difference is that Dončić is widely considered one of the best offensive players in the world, capable of carrying teams through extended stretches even when surrounded by supporting casts of varying quality. It is also worth remembering the context of how Brooks operates as a player and as a public figure. He has always leaned into the villain role. He embraces being disliked by opposing fan bases, and he uses outside noise, whether criticism or his own provocations, to fuel his play on the court. Whether or not he genuinely believes the Lakers are a weak team, the comments serve a purpose. They create a storyline, generate attention for himself and his sons, and plant a seed of doubt in the minds of neutral observers heading into next season. Brooks is many things, but Nave is not one of them. He knows exactly what he is doing every time he opens his mouth. The Lakers, to their credit, appear to have built a more functional and complete group than the one Dončić played with when he first arrived in Los Angeles. The team lacked depth at multiple positions last season and was forced to play through injury challenges that limited their rotation significantly. Walker Kessler provides a legitimate rim, protecting anchor at center, one of the most important elements needed alongside an offensive creator of Dončić's caliber. Quentin Grimes and Matisse Thybulle add perimeter defense and shooting that the team desperately needed. Ziaire Williams offers length and versatility. The roster, while perhaps not loaded with all-star talent, is more balanced and better suited to compete on both ends of the floor. Brooks' comment, whether he intended it this way or not, has the potential to serve as genuine bulletin board material for a Lakers team that will be highly motivated to prove doubters wrong. Dončić has made a career out of silencing critics, performing at his best when the pressure is highest and the outside voices are the loudest. A team full of players eager to establish themselves in a new city, a new system, or a new role will find extra motivation in remarks like these. When the Lakers and the Suns meet during the 2026-27 regular season, that game will carry extra meaning. Both sides will remember this moment. Brooks clearly wants the tension. He is the type of competitor who feeds off hostility and plays his best basketball in adversarial settings. The Lakers, now armed with a roster built on toughness, depth, and competitive fight, will be ready to respond. And Luka Dončić, who does not need additional motivation but will certainly accept it, will be eyeing that matchup from the moment the schedule is released. In the end, Brooks may have unintentionally given this young Lakers group exactly the extra fuel it needed before the season even begins. The Los Angeles Lakers off-season work may not be finished yet, despite already securing Walker Kessler as their starting center through a sign and trade with the Utah Jazz, and adding veteran Kevin Looney as depth behind him. The organization continues to evaluate additional options at the center position. According to a report from Michael Scotto of HoopsHype, citing a note from The Athletic's Dan Woik, the Lakers are considered a potential trade partner for Milwaukee Bucks center Jericho Sims. That name alone should get Lakers fans paying close attention, because Sims brings exactly the kind of physical profile that has historically played well alongside Luka Dončić. Sims is a 6'10", 250-pound center who thrives as a rim runner and energy big. His game is not built on scoring volume or perimeter shooting. It is built on physicality, athleticism, rebounding, and finishing around the basket. He is the kind of player who operates best when given open lanes and lob opportunities generated by a high-level playmaker. Exactly the type of opportunities Dončić creates on a nightly basis. The Lakers have seen this archetype work before. Jackson Hayes had considerable success in a similar role alongside Dončić, benefiting from the attention the superstar drew on every possession. Sims could slot into a comparable role and provide the same kind of efficient, low-usage production off the bench. The 2025-26 season was the most productive of Sims' career to this point. He appeared in 67 games for Milwaukee, and including 19 starts at average 5.0 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 0.6 assists in 19.7 minutes per contest, while shooting a remarkable 78.4% from the field. Those baseline numbers do not tell the full story. In the final 7 games of the regular season, when Milwaukee gave him expanded minutes, Sims averaged 10.0 points, 9.1 rebounds, and 4.7 assists in 30.7 minutes per game. He delivered a 20-rebound performance against the Houston Rockets and recorded a triple-double against the Detroit Pistons during that stretch. Those late-season showings offered a clear preview of what he is capable of when given consistent opportunity and a defined role. From Milwaukee's perspective, a trade makes logical sense. The Bucks already have veteran center Miles Turner on the roster, and they recently added Kelly Ware, another young big with long-term potential. With 2 centers taking up significant roster space, Sims becomes a tradable asset the Bucks may be willing to part with for the right return. His modest salary makes him an attractive piece in a deal that would not require the Lakers to give up significant assets or stretch their financial flexibility any further than necessary. The Lakers, for their part, would be getting a high-energy, reliable big man who can protect the rim and rebound at a strong rate. Sims was originally selected by the New York Knicks in the second round of the 2021 NBA draft before eventually landing in Milwaukee. His journey to becoming a reliable rotation piece has been a gradual one, but the tools have always been there. His combination of length, athleticism, and effort make him a player whose best basketball may still be ahead of him, particularly if he lands in a system that maximizes those traits. It is also worth examining what Sims would bring to the Lakers' defensive identity. J.J. Redick has emphasized toughness and competitive edge as priorities for this roster, and Sims fits that profile comfortably. He is not a passive big man who waits to react. He reads developing plays quickly, rotates efficiently, and competes for every rebound with physical intensity. His shot blocking instincts have improved steadily throughout his career, and his ability to defend in space has grown as well. For a team that includes multiple perimeter, heavy wings, having a big man capable of protecting the paint without sacrificing mobility on the defensive end is extremely valuable. The financial component of this potential deal also deserves consideration. The Lakers have been careful about preserving roster flexibility while still adding meaningful contributors. Sims carries a modest contract that would allow the Lakers to absorb him without creating significant long-term cap complications. This type of low-risk, high-upside acquisition is exactly the kind of move that separates well-managed franchises from those that continually chase expensive veterans only to come up short in the playoffs. The Lakers' interest in adding center depth beyond Kessler and Looney reflects an understanding that playoff success often depends on having multiple trustworthy options in the front court. Injuries are always a factor in a long season, and having a third legitimate center option who can step in and contribute without missing a beat provides important insurance. If the front office can close a deal for Sims without surrendering meaningful long-term assets, this could prove to be one of the smartest low-profile moves of their entire offseason. For a team built around Dončić and looking to compete deep into the postseason, adding a physical, athletic center like Jericho Sims would only strengthen the foundation they are working so hard to construct. This is the kind of addition that does not make the highlight reel during the offseason, but makes a very loud statement when the games start counting in the spring.